Hi everyone, so I'm going to show you how to make a little coffin storage box that you can use on a table. You could put sweets in it for Halloween, you could just store anything that you want in it really. I'll probably use it to store some like art materials and things. So first of all you need 2 strips of card that are approximately 5 centimeters wide and 10 centimeters long. You don't have to be exact, just make it as big as you want. Basically, as long as you make 2 long sides, a small base, and then make the 3 pieces to make the top. You can make it any size you want. I've gone for one that will fit on my table that I can put some items in. And as you can see, what I'm doing first is I've got the 2 big side pieces and I'm sticking those on. And I'm making this out of card because it's nice and easy, and I'm just going to do 2 layers of card to make it nice and thick. This is just the first layer to get the basic shape. So as you can see, I've stuck the 2 side pieces onto the end, to the base, like so. Oops. And what I'm going to do, you'll see in a second, is I'll stick this base and 2 side pieces onto the back panel of cardboard to make it a bit more rigid so it doesn't keep flopping around everywhere while I'm waiting for the glue to dry. And you need the sides to be about 25 degrees out from the base. You'll see what I mean in a second when I stick it onto the big piece of cardboard to hold it all together, which will form the bottom of the box. So as you can see, the sides will be spread out like this, so it'll be wider at the top than it will be at the bottom, and then you get 3 pieces that make the top, like so. And I'm just using some cardboard box card because I find this a nice easy material to work with. You could of course make it out of wood and then you don't have to do all the paper macheing or anything, but I've got cardboard, so that's what I'm using. This is a nice cheap DIY for Halloween that you could just use as a simple Halloween decoration. I'll have this out year round because I always do, but if you just want something quick and easy to make that you can store some Halloween sweets in or candy or something, then this is one thing you can do. So I'm applying hot glue along the edges and the edges of the base. I'm using hot glue because it sets nice and quick and I find it holds it quite firmly. It really works very well for sticking card down. And at this stage I want to stick the sides out so they're slanted at a roughly, I don't know, about 20-25 degrees, something like that. So you can see it starts to form the basic part of the coffin shape, and then I've just got to do the top. While I've got easy access to the inside, I'm going to run a bead of glue around the inside just to make sure everything is well glued down and is not going to move around. If you don't do this, you might find that the sides come away from the base or you have gaps and it might look a bit weird later on. I just find this makes it a bit stronger. I am going to put 2 layers of card on the side, so this is not mega important, but I just think it's an extra step worth doing. Then I'm going to take 2 pieces of card that are the same height as the sides of the coffin, and I'm going to cut them a little bit thinner, and these are going to be my slanted side pieces that go on the top to make the top of the coffin. So like this is the shoulder pieces of the coffin. And the reason I'm not giving you precise measurements for everything is because I don't measure anything. I just like to make stuff. But obviously if you are going to make this out of wood or something, you need to be a bit more precise with your measurements and angles. But I quite like working with card, it's quite forgiving. So as you can see, that's the two shoulders of the coffin, and then I'll just need another piece to go in the middle to form the top of the coffin. I'm just making sure the angles look right and making sure it's sticking. So I'm holding it upright so I can have a look and make sure the shape looks all right. And then I'm going to stick the final piece in the top, and that will make the full shape of the sides of the coffin. Here I'm just holding it against the gap and then cutting the card down so it will fit in the gap. It's not exact, but that's okay because we're going to put another layer of card over this anyway, and that will cover up any gaps. And again, what you want to do is, once that's stuck in place, you want to run some beads of glue around the inside seams of the coffin, just to make sure it's well secured and it's not going to fall apart. Then the next step, once the glue has started to set, is to trim off the excess from the base of the coffin. Just you need a nice big pair of sharp scissors for this, and just trim it off, and that way the base is the exact size that you need it, and you don't have to measure everything and get it all perfect. You just trim off the excess. So this will form the bottom of the box. I'm not going to make a lid for this coffin because this is just an open container to have on a table with sweets or, I don't know, jewellery, crystals, anything you want to store in there. But you could make a lid if you wanted to. So that's my basic shape. Then I'm just going to run some beads of glue inside the inside seams. This will just make sure it's all well connected and it's not going to fall apart. And then once the glue's set, I'm going to take some self-adhesive felt. I used this when I was relining in an old jewellery box where I took out the gross lining and put in a nice new one. And the pack I bought had spare sheets in, so I'm using it. It's easy to get online. You just search for self-adhesive felt sheets and you'll find it. So I've got a piece that I'm going to lay the coffin onto, and I'm just going to use that to draw around to give me a rough template for the piece of felt that needs to go inside at the bottom, because I want to do it all in one piece. Just make sure you position it on your piece of felt so there's plenty of space all the way around. Then just draw around up the back of the felt with like the paper backing with pencil. And then you're going to cut that out and peel the backing off and stick it in place. And you do the same for all of the inside of the coffin. And when you fully lined the coffin, it will look like this. I like the felt because it's quite forgiving and it does hide the edges quite well. Now for the outside, you could cover it in some black fabric. You could just paper mache the outside. I've just put some layers of hot glue on the outside in little sort of scratchy marks to create a texture for the outside of the coffin box. And then I've put some extra little bits of card to sort of form little panels where the top and bottom of the coffin are. And inside here is 2 layers of card now. So I put another layer of card on the outside first to reinforce it and make it stronger. And then once the hot glue is all dried, where I've used it to make the texture on the outside, then the next step is to paint the whole thing black. So I'm just taking some black acrylic paint and a wide brush, and I'm just going to cover the whole thing in 2 layers of black acrylic paint. Let the 2 layers dry between, and when it's done it looks like this. So you've got the textured outside and then the nice smooth velvety inside. And you don't have to do the textured outside if you want. You could cover it with some paper mache to smooth it out and then paint it, but I wanted it to look quite textured. And then you can use it to store random objects around your house. So for an example, here's a pot of paint and a pot of glue sticks, my art materials. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.